Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can already tell, I'm here again for my second video and I'm so proud of myself that I'm here again and not checking out and like, oh, I'm shy, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm very happy that I'm back here to do another video. So today I'm going to be talking about failure. Yeah. Failure is such a sensitive topic that I think people don't talk about it as much as we should talk about it, because it is something that I think happens to many people, right? Even to the best of people, people that you admire, people that you know. Failure is something that I think happens to people. Of course, there are people that haven't failed, I believe. So it's not like you have to fail to become a better person, right? So I'm going to be sharing the story of the first time I failed and the lessons I learned from it. The first time I failed was in uni. I studied law at the University of Lagos, and the first time I failed was in my penultimate year. So it's a 5-year course. Studying law in Nigeria is 5 years, I believe, for many of the universities. So this course that I failed is called land law. Land law is such a subject that even before you get to 400 level, you're already scared about land law, right? So it was not as though I was a star student, don't get me wrong. I think I was just average in uni for reasons I honestly don't know. I was just always scared of everything that happened to me in uni in terms of writing exams, right? So, but my own idea was like, oh, don't just fail, right? Just keep on going, don't just fail. But sadly, I failed land law my second semester, and the way uni was set up then, so usually to make law school doesn't wait for any uni. So whether your school is done with their academic year or not, law school is going to begin. So to meet up with that, Unilag final year students always write their final exams before the general school. So what it means if you fail a course in your 400 level second semester, a compulsory course, is that you would have to wait back for when the general school is writing their exams to have a receipt. So that would mean that you wouldn't go to law school with your set. That was very devastating at that time. What do you mean I'm not going to go to law school with my set? So that happened. And of course, with everything, the conversations that, oh, what does this mean for my law school? How do I tell my parents? Because, right, for me, it was a thing of if I failed and it was not going to have any effect on going to law school, I most likely would have not told them yet until when I take it again and pass it. But because of the fact that it's going to affect my law school, I had to tell them. So I was faced with so many things, so many problems, to be honest, and I thought my life was over. First lesson that I learned is failure is never the end, okay? Failure is not the end. Of course, it is devastating, it is sad, nobody wants to fail. But if you find yourself in a situation where you're failed or where you're going through any form of rejection, it is not the end. It is never the end, right? So, of course, conversation started. I need to really take this course and see what can happen, whether I can still make law school with my set, right? But the possibility of that was very slim, very, very slim. Of course, I went on with that, tried my possible best not to get any other carryovers in my final year, which would actually mean an extra year for real. So I did all of that and made sure I didn't get any failures in my final year. That's my 500 level. But I still had to do the course I failed in 400 level second semester, land law. Of course, I finally did it and I passed it. And there was even the possibility of making law school with my set, but that would have meant that I would have resumed like 4 weeks, I think, after school law school already began. And knowing myself, I knew that that would not work for me at all. So I decided to take a gap year, right? So I didn't go to law school with my set, and I was like, I'll go to law school the next set. So my second lesson as well would be that know your strength and play to your strength. So one thing that I think did not work for me in uni was that I just did not have a reading for how to use my strengths. I'm a morning person, and for some weird reason, I just never used to study in the morning and always just waited till when it is either overnight and all of that, and that wasn't working for me. So another lesson I learned was to know my strengths and play to my strengths. And then, of course, I didn't go to law school with my set, so my friends were in law school, but I wasn't in law school yet. So I spoke to them. Big shout out to Deborah Idowu. That was one person I spoke to about law school, about experience in law school, just to get myself prepared for the next year when I was going to go. Another lesson, again, is always speak to people that have gone ahead of you, right? That is such a very cheap advice, cheap in quotes, in the sense that I don't think you might need to spend money. Of course, some people monetize their knowledge, and that is absolutely fine. But you can just, explore within your circle, or speak to a friend that has a friend. It's such a smart thing to do, right? Before you start something, speak to people that have gone ahead of you. I did that with law school. I spoke to my friend. So when I was going to law school, I knew what I was going in there for. I knew what the schedule was like. I even went to the same law school as she did, Enugu. So I knew what I was expecting. Nothing caught me by surprise when I went to law school. That was the advantage I had in speaking to somebody that had gone ahead of me. And of course, it paid off. I finished a better grade than I did in uni, which was one thing I wanted. I wanted to finish a better grade in law school that I finished with in uni. So yeah, that's so I've said failure is not the end. Know your strengths and play to your strengths. Speak to people that have gone ahead of you. And I think the final one is to note that God cannot mismanage your life. I promise you guys, failure is not the best thing to happen to anyone at all. Nobody wants to fail, right? But if you find yourself in that situation, know that God cannot mismanage your life, okay? Today in my devotional, the devotional was talking about gave a scenario about if you're watching a movie and if you love spoilers like I do, and you go to check spoilers and you see that, oh, the star of the movie did not die, and when you're watching the movie you see the star of the movie like being faced with a near-death experience, but you know that they survived, so you're not scared or like anxious about what will happen to them. I think similar thing can be your case too as well. For me, looking now at where I am in life, right? Of course, not like I have everything all sorted out, but definitely my failure in my penultimate year did not determine my life at all. I took all the lessons that I said, and I think it even played out too as well when I was looking for a job too, and how I got my job too as well. It didn't come easy, but I did not think that, oh, getting a rejection one time was going to stop me from getting this job. So yeah, that is all the lessons I wanted to share with you, and I hope that this video can encourage you if you're currently in this situation where you are either experiencing failure, rejection, or anything of that kind, that you're encouraged that it is not the end. God cannot mismanage your life. Your end is still going to be very beautiful. This failure is just a detour. You're going to get to your expected end, and I'm definitely wishing you the best. If you like this video, please share with your friends and let me know in the comments as well if you have ever experienced failure of any kind and the lessons that you learned. I'll see you in my next video.